Welcome everyone to the Toku Portal podcast. It's me Zero here with
Did it decay?
Rye? Drago.
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay. Welcome to Kamen Rider Build episode 13. So, last week we ended off with Nabeshima having regained his memory and calling Sento to tell him who it was that hired him to kidnap Banjo. Hearing what he has to say, Sento goes to be alone for a while and think on it. Later, after the others manage to lure him out with food, he reveals that it was Stark. At this time, though, they all believe that Stark is Katsuragi. We start getting early signs that Sento is thinking otherwise. What do you guys think?
Well, I liked that he didn't really. I mean, it was kind of obvious that he got the sauce from that phone call, but it was nice that he didn't let it stop him from working, I guess. Like, he was still determined to. I'm pretty sure he was working on the thing we're going to see next episode. Because, yeah, he just immediately got to work. Whereas some other writers would have probably been a little bitchy at this point in the series. But since he is experienced, I guess that was nice. But yeah, that's about it.
Personally, this shows for me like a Sento's character that his refusal to believe that it is actually the actually who whatever Stark identity is that we find out later. His refusal to believe because he trusts him so much, and also him having his self doubt, like how to go about it to confirm or not. That was a really that in the beginning you could when you rewatch the episode you could see after you could see that in Seto's expression, and the actor did a phenomenal job in portraying that. Otherwise, I have no other clue, no other whatever I have to say.
yeah, I agree. Really well acted. I mean, it was kind of obvious that he got the right answer, but like, it does show that like he's a smart character. That he's not just gonna he's not. He has the information, but he's not gonna act, um, like erratically and just go after Stark because like the thing is he's not 100% sure, and even if he was, like, there's no way of winning or guarantee winning. So like, it's nice that he waited, even though he had the information.
Yeah, he handled the situation very well. Uh, so, elsewhere, Gentoku is having a meeting with Namba about bringing the rider system into the government, which has been his whole plan this entire series so far. However, Namba decides it's too risky to give it to him, and explains that he has a new partner. As if we can't guess who that's going to be. And then the next day, or whatever, it's a different day, Gentoku calls out Stark to have a friendly chat with him about the location of Pandora's box. Stark says he'll only agree if Gentoku agrees to work for him. Of course, they break out into a fight. Gentoku explains that unlike the rider system, their trans steam system stays at a fixed hazard level, so they should be the same strength. So Stark just wins due to pure skill, because he's a little bit awesome like that. He then explains to Gentoku that he is Namba's new partner, and that if Gentoku tries sending the government in to get Pandora's box back, it'll likely start a war. He suggests sending in someone not connected to the government. So this is the part that interests me. Why does he at first I was wondering, why does he suggest that? Why is he obviously planting the idea to send Build in? But then later on, I realized, like, oh, I know what his plan was.
Yeah, honestly, what I was more interested though is the whole Namba being able to recreate the rider system. Like, I'm just wondering how the hell that works because later it's brought up that there are only 20 full bottles, I guess excluding the Bat and Cobra one, because there's 10 slots on each of the panels of Pandora's box. So, like, what the heck are these rider systems gonna run on? More extra bottles, or like, I'm curious, and I hope the answers pay off. I honestly wouldn't be surprised if the next rider was using Namba's rider system. So, yeah, I'm pretty interested. Uh, in terms of the fight, yeah, I really liked that fight. It was nice seeing Stark finally show his true power because he's mostly kind of just taken hits and dodged around and half-assed most of the fight. So yeah, that was badass.
Okay, yeah. Well, I have actually have nothing to say much to say about this except the fact that Namba seems like it's just that Namba threatening like like if you send to the government that then he could just start they could spark a war between any one of the nations. That was a pretty good move from him. But the one thing that bothers me a bit is that how come Sento didn't realize that Nitro is like connected to Faust because of how much information they're giving, and why what makes Sento special to Nitro? Didn't he think about that? Sorry, not Nitro. I forgot Gentoku because he doesn't know he's Nitro. But I hope there like, he has some doubts about his allegiances and connection to Faust because he invited him. He told him the information for no apparent reason, and then at least as far as he's concerned that somebody has been relaying information and they're walking into a trap. But even so, I hope that he doesn't have faith in Kentoku because this scene wouldn't make sense logically.
Yeah, I mean, there's two possibilities. One is plot holes, because the show tends to be kind of lazy, or the other thing is like they all want to use each other so much that they're willing to be like, all right, I know you're an enemy from me, or especially like an episode ago or two, but like I can just use you anyway, so who cares? So like everybody is like potentially dangerous, but like I'm not gonna take that risk. Yeah.
Yeah,
Our rider fights like this, that was awesome.
Zero, I think you cut off a little bit there.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'll just repeat. It's either plot holes or they're thinking they're like super smart and they're all trying to use each other. Or the other thing I wanted to say is like it was a really good fight. I wish we got more fights like this in this show because that was really well done.
Yeah, this was a fantastic fight. And I would say it's the best that the series has had so far, but later in this episode, we're going to get one that again tops it. So later at the cafe, Soichi returns from his part-time job and has a heartwarming, almost father-like son with chat with Sento about when he started living there. We also get a flashback scene of Sento first becoming Build, and how confused and kind of scared he was. It was actually really neat to see. Usually, when writers henshin for the first time, they're like on game, they know what they're doing, or even if they're a little confused, they're like, alright, I can roll with this. But Sento was like, and he was kind of shaking a bit. It was actually pretty good.
Yeah, that was pretty nice to see. But that was such a painful scene because, I mean, Sento knew the truth, so yes, he probably was pissed off at Soichi, but he couldn't just erase all the history that Soichi was bringing up, and it was even more painful when you find out that Misora was listening in on their conversation, and she's probably gonna find out the truth next episode too. So yeah, it was pretty bittersweet, and I think it was pretty well directed.
Okay, yeah, well, basically, that scene was very heartwarming. Like with the first transformation coming later on rather than the in the first episode, this was a bit better place to start off with, and it just a Sento coming after beating the Smash, and then I've wait, S- Soichi welcoming him was really good in my opinion. With what happens later on. Zero.
Zero.
Um, I agree. It was a well done scene. My only thing is with that is okay. So you found this amnesiac guy, and on that same day you gave him a belt and said, "Okay, go be a commoner." Like shit. Even Agito got like a little while to be a normal person before he did his writer shit. You know,
Well,
like give
for
him a sec.
Agito, like, his villains took an entire year just fucking off.
Yeah, I mean that's the one thing I don't like. It's just like they're trying to tie in the story so much, but then they're like, they put this dumbass timeline where it's like, oh, this happened, this happened, this happened, and then they're like, okay, well, no, we're just gonna do whatever we want for the story, and it doesn't make sense because it's like, how do you not find that fishy? It's like, oh, you lost your memories, and that day some guy just said, yeah, go be a writer, like. What the fuck? Like, if it was like a month later, I would be fine with it. But like, I don't know, man. And also,
I think
I thought built the damn driver, but I mean,
Well,
Sento built it, but I
no,
guess
no, no, no.
not.
Sento
Go ahead,
fixed
Billy.
it to be able to transform, but the base component was there for testing best matches.
I thought that's what the wall panel was, but
The
who
wall
knows?
panel also does that, but the driver is portable. And he also had that because Katsuragi made it.
Yeah, I mean that kind of makes him a little less special, but whatever.
Well, I'm
uh,
pretty sure that Sento
it,
is Katsuragi, so he did build it.
well, also I wanted to point out that because they did, Sento wasn't wearing the same clothing that he was wearing on that day, and it feels like there's a small time gap. They just skipped time a bit between the day he found Soichi found what do you call it, Sento, and the day he became build. I think there's a time jump because it feels a
I mean,
bit disconnected between the two scenes.
yeah. I was gonna say, of course, there's a time jump. They had to go and raid Ichijo's wardrobe. I mean, like it's totally Ichijo's fucking like coat. Close enough, I guess.
Anyways, at the Institute, Gentoku explains to Sento that the stolen Pandora's box has ended up at Namba Heavy Industries, where they cannot get it. And like Drago mentioned earlier, this scene doesn't make too much sense because it just abruptly ends with no context behind like how that conversation played out beyond that sentence. It just cuts to Sento back at the cafe questioning Sawa on how to get in. He also gives Mizora the unpurified components bottle he got from when Sawa was turned into a smash, which was the 20th one. She's scared to purify it though because he and Bonjo are going to go on to a dangerous mission. Uh, and the plan isn't really Pandora's box. That's more of just an excuse. The real plan is to lure out Stark, which Bonjo's on board with since that's who they need to prove his innocence. All in all, this is a really good scene because Mizora is starting to show like, hey, you're doing a lot of really dangerous stuff. I don't really like the idea of you going out there getting hurt.
I'll pass.
Well, is it though? I feel like later sometimes I feel like I think this is because she knows that Soichi might be Stark. I think, but this is very least like this is less likely. So yeah, but otherwise, I also have nothing to say about this scene.
Yeah, I mean it was well acted, but other than that, like there's not much to say.
Alright. Sento and Banjo begin their attack. Since they want to be caught, they charge in head first, beelining it to Pandora's box. Sento puts the code he got from Sawa, but it doesn't work. Stark, on the inside, opens it anyways to greet them. The two riders team up on him, but he knows too much about how they fight and can just evade their attacks. So Sento uses his newest best match, Octopus Light. Stark, caught off guard, is forced to retreat. Sento and Banjo return to the cafe with Pandora's box, where Mizora tearfully welcomes them back. And then they all celebrate their victory with a feast. That night, when he believes everyone else is asleep, Soichi ties up the full bottles, Pandora's box, and the panels into a bag and goes to slip away with them. Sento catches him at the door. When Nabeshima regained his memory, he also knew Stark's true identity. The astronaut that found Pandora's box on Mars and opened it on Earth, Soichi. Sento tested this theory when Stark couldn't react to a bottle combination that Soichi also didn't know about. Sento asks Soichi if he's Stark, but instead of answering, Soichi rushes out the door and Sento gives chase. Episode end. So, if you don't think that Soichi is Stark at this point, you weren't paying attention. A lot of us had this theory way while back that it was him, and now we're right. And going back to what I said earlier about why did he even give the idea of sending Build in to steal the box, it's because he wants it for himself. He had to get it away from Gentoku first, so during the staged theft, he turned it into a real theft and took it, and then needed to plant it somewhere, so he passed it off to Nanba, and then he needed to get it back from Nanba, so he had Build go in and steal it from them, and clears his own name. And in all that, Nanba even broke off ties with the government, like saying, hey, I'm not going to spread the rider system. I'm pretty sure that's what his plan was, at least.
Yeah, I didn't put those steps together, but that's pretty crafty. I have a lot to say, but I know Drago has a time limit, so I'll let him go first.
Okay. This is one of the okay. We knew the thing about Soichi being Stark. That was predictable enough, but there were other red herrings about Stark, and also with his face changing ability. Who knows? But as far as who the Soichi is concerned, the person we've been following since the beginning is Stark. That is there, but and also the fact that they had such a heartwarming scene with the lunch and everything, and throughout the episode, and just to make Sento realize that he's Stark and confirm that was very, very heartbreaking, at least for the character. Showed in his face, in Sento's face. So, and also I really like this the entire the entire thing played out, and I can't wait for more.
Okay, I'll go now. So yeah, the double henshin was pretty good job on the CG. It was nice having some in-suit humor because most of it has been out of suit, so that was pretty fun before the serious fight, which was awesome. Had awesome camera work. It is pretty funny that literally one episode after I complain that they're getting away from the whole physics theme, they throw in some formulas, so that was nice. But one thing that I just thought of the second time watching was just like this confirming our theories. It just adds so much more weight to Stark's introduction at the end of episode 3. Because basically, right off the bat, he poisons Sento, captures Nabashima to wipe his memory, he cures Sento so he can keep using him. But then in episode 4, he tells them where they can find Nabashima because turning into Smash twice will basically kill you. So, wow, this guy is seriously messed up, but not pure evil. Yeah, he's a pretty good villain in my eyes.
Yeah, I agree. It's really good when a show takes the time and effort to actually like put down actual plot threads of like, oh right, this guy could be the villain. If you actually follow along instead of like some random guy who just shows up, or like so many red herrings that like the only way to be right is just like guess, and then your guess might be right. So this was
Exactly.
well done. What?
Sorry, there's just the whole thing with like X8's game syndrome and all that plotline where they weren't giving enough information to raise up the mystery. Just it was a little unsatisfying. This series is doing like the whole foreshadowing thing a lot better.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, it's doing the Stark thing better. It's not doing the whole like, what the fuck does Nightrogue and Build know, and why do they keep interacting in human form, even though by this point they should both know that they're like enemies. So it's like it's clever in one part and stupid in another. So it's like, I mean, then again, like Nitro potentially is gonna become a good guy writer or something. I don't fucking know, man. There's so many damn writers in this or coming up. Who knows? Um, Personally, I like the first fight with like Nightrogue and Stark better. I mean, this wasn't bad, but like I like that one better. Um, Otherwise, yeah, like it's good to see like yeah, you can at least the other good thing with Stark is you can put his plan together. Like Rai said, that's exactly what he did, right? He took it from Faust, gave it to Namba Industries, and then had like Build take it from Namba, and then he's taking it from them. So it's like it makes perfect sense why he did all that, or close enough, that you could believe somebody would do this. Um, so that's nice. The one funny thing is like when he's rapping. Okay, when like Build and those guys take back the Pandora's box, they wrap it in like plastic wrap, so like nobody would suspect it. I'm like, okay, that's cute. And then when like um Suichi stealing it, he literally wraps it in like the green cloth with like the white swirls. I'm like, could you like that's the equivalent of like stealing something in one of those like money bags, with like the symbol here in the West. It's like, oh my god, could you be any more on the nose? But other than that, it was pretty well done though. Except for then he just takes off. And then like Gokai Platinum put out like a video and it's just like I think it's like one of the Amazon songs or something. And it's just like who are you or something, and that just repeats over and over, and it's really hilarious. He just put that out, but seeing that also made me realize like god damn, man, Ryder really needs to have a fucking ending song, because like if you just put like an Amazon song here it would put perfectly. But go ahead.
Oh, so you just made me realize that this episode, the opening was at the opening and not in the end credits, like XA did for an entire arc. Also, go on.
Yeah, I was just gonna say it's kind of nice to see. I don't remember if they were in the last week's episode. Like they're showing the movie footage, so people who don't know, like the previous writers, are getting to see some of the other guys, especially because they're suit actors and they're like writer form, so that's kind of cool. Also, also, Kamen Rider G, okay, could fit into this universe. It's fucking great. Because that way it's like, oh, Build meets all the post decade Heisei writers, and G met all the Heisei writers up till decade. It would be perfect. Um, because Kamen Rider G henshins with like a beer bottle or something. It's weird. It's like this weird one-off thing. It's
The
great.
wine bottle.
Oh yeah, it's great, right? Like wine bottles and the full bottles. Oh, plus like there are no writers for like 10 years. It could fit perfectly, man. And his story is also kind of this weird like super government spy agency thing going on. But that's one hell of a tangent. Go ahead, you guys.
Uh, in terms of like why Sento and Gentoku are being nice to each other, at this point it's still more advantageous to them to just pretend like they aren't rivals with each other because there will be a lot less problems that way. Uh, and with that, why don't we move on to final thoughts about the episode? Drago, you want to go first?
Episode was great, and I hope that they remove the opening song and put it at the end.
They might after the movie airs this weekend.
Oh, sorry. Um, yeah, final thoughts. Yeah, the episode was really fun and pretty emotional. I'm looking forward to next week's. And that final scene, they made it 10 times better because, I mean, we all kind of figured out who Stark was by this point. But that background track they had just, and Sento's acting was just perfect. So, yeah, I love this episode.
This was a great episode. I really liked the way they did the reveal about Soichi being Stark and how all the clues were there and it was completely possible to figure it out. And I also really liked after like they both run out the store. It just has that shot of the empty store. It's dark. It's like, oh man, it just it just gives you this like abysmal feeling in your stomach.
Yes, I agree. That final, like the last couple of shots, or that last scene was really well done. Um, Otherwise, like the episode overall was very, very good. Like, uh, it's kind of like the level I expect a writer show to be, especially now that they seem to kind of get their shit together. Like, hopefully, the show keeps its momentum going. But otherwise, yeah, it's pretty good.
If everyone has said what they wanted to say,
Wait, I just wanted to say something. I just wish Ryder can do whatever they will rebuild and excel, like keeping the serious tone while having the gimmicks, because that is where Ryder is strong rather than forced comedy, or like forced comedy and basically ghost.
I mean, Ghost had a lot of like behind the scenes of Toei moving their lead writer around, and production budget shortages because they were doing like Amazon season one with like the late end of Ghost, and like the production company couldn't make suits for both of them, and like a lot of dumbass shit happened. I mean, not as bad as Wizard, but it's still pretty shit. Or definitely not as bad as Decade. But yeah.
Thanks for joining us tonight, everybody. Uh, we'll be back next Tuesday with more Key Ranger, and next Wednesday with more Kamen Rider Build. Seems like it's going to be a really good one next week, so be sure to catch it. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you next time.
Rabbit Tank Double X next time debut. Bye bye.
Yeah, thanks for listening.
Thanks for joining us, everyone. See you next time.